Hello and welcome to Time+Tide's headquarters in Melbourne, Australia. It is nearly Christmas in Australia, which means one thing to us at Time+Tide: lists. Here are the best watches of 2021 from $1,000 to $5,000. Part one. Before we get into ceremonies, I am wearing a Tag Heuer Day Date Carrera, one of the new models, very classic, nice on the wrist. Tell me what you're wearing. And also, if you want to win the magazine from which all these selections have sprung, just tell us what you're wearing down below. And also, tell us which watch in this video, and also in the next part two for this price point, you would buy for $1,000 to $5,000. There's lots of choices. Let's get started. All right, where do we start? I can tell you where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with tiny Cartier because there's this rampaging trend. The first watch is the Must de Cartier collection in a range of colors. There's a burgundy, there's a green, there's a blue. Why did I choose this? You cannot scroll Instagram without seeing someone like Tyler, the creator, wearing a tiny Cartier. So if you want a piece of that action, it's open to you. This is the Must de Cartier collection. They're 25.5 millimeters and they're priced at $4,150. Now I tried the burgundy watch on during the year. It looked absurdly small on me, but maybe I'm not enough of a rapper to pull it off. If you think you could try, or if you think this is gonna suit someone else in your life, this is a hot collection. Cartier has had a year like no other. They are red hot. The Cartier Must de Cartier collection in all these beautiful colors, definitely in the top 10. Number two, the Doxa Sub 600T. Now, this is part of our story. We were so fortunate to be given the chance to relaunch the 600T collection with our Pacific limited edition in titanium. Now, of course, a lot of commentators, reviewers at the time the watch came out said, if only we could get this watch non-limited in steel, and your prayers have all been answered. The Sub 600T was dropped just a couple of weeks ago here, and it is a winner for the price. We have 600 meters of water resistance. We have this much less kitsch design from the 80s with these nice chamfered bevels, edges, angles. It's a lot less kitsch than the 60s stuff, and also at a price that is impossible to argue with. And that Doxa value proposition never ceases to amaze. We have the Doxa Sub 600T starting in price at 2,145 Australian dollars. Now, a brand that has no doubt caught your eye for its use of colorful design, as well as this lovely classic mid-century feel, is FARRAH from England. Now, we have chosen from a broad range of contenders for this price point, the Lander 4 GMT. And that's because there's no movement for me, or there's no complication that's quite as handy as a GMT. It's so useful to use when you travel, which we're starting to do again, thank God. And this model definitely stood out to me for being yet another amazing green dial. So for under 2,000 Australian dollars, you're getting a hot micro brand, and you're also getting a useful complication. So just shut up and take my money. Now there's a real tussle here for me. Which Longine do you go for? Do you go for the Avigation Big Eye with that petrol fume dial? Do you go for the Dolce Vita in a larger size, which is getting you that rectangular dress watch love? Or do you go for yet more evolutions of the Legend Diver? And I've gone for the Legend Diver because this combination of a bronze case and a fume green dial is devastating. Look at this watch. It is just so charming. And also again, that bronze, Longine have executed this bronze in a stable alloy, so you're not getting lots of blotching and patina really early. It's just a knockout. And whenever I see this on someone's wrist, I'm reminded of how pitch perfect Longine have got the Legend Diver over the last few years. The size, in case you're wondering, of this model is 42 millimeters and the price is 4,475 Aussie. Number five, if we're talking about popularity, we can't leave out the Mito Ocean Star decompression timer. However, I don't want to irritate you because that watch sold, it evaporated like the first edition. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to draw your attention to another very worthy Mito at this price point. It's at only a touch over 1,000, it's $1,600. It is the Mito Ocean Star 200C, and it really shows what Mito can do for extraordinarily low prices. We have a ceramic bezel diver that to me looks more 80s era than 60s. It looks kind of like a Seamaster Pro type of era dive watch with a ceramic bezel, a lovely wave pattern dial, a date, 200 meters water resistance. So really a package for a diver from a brand that is part of a group and is going to offer fantastic movements. It's evidenced here. We have an 80-hour power reserve mechanical movement. So really all of that for 1600 Aussie, it's actually beating micro brands at their own game in lots of ways. Love this watch. Easily could have put the decompression timer in its place, but just didn't want to poke the bear because it's gone. So a reminder, tell us what you're wearing below and why. Tell us which watch you would consider buying between $1 and $5 grand, and don't go anywhere because part 2 is coming up.